How should you invest $100,000? What about 1 million? Even if you don't have these amounts, the principles in this video still apply. I'll teach you how to build a simple, long-term set it and forget it portfolio so that you can get started investing today, whether you have $1 or a significantly higher amount. Stay tuned. Okay, so before I get into teaching you how to actually apply these principles and the qualifying questions we're gonna ask, we need to understand, who is this video even for? So this could be for people who have inherited a significant windfall. Heaven forbid this is through the death of a loved one, or someone who just won the lottery, or it could be an insurance suit, who knows, but large windfall. Number two is people who have sold a business. So they've built their business over time, over many, many years. They're starting to get a business that is actually saleable, that they can sell for a specific amount based on the valuations that they make, and they can sell it for hundreds of thousands to tens of millions to hundreds of millions of dollars, who knows. Number three is savers. So these are people that have been saving for a long time. They're the type of people that are the brick by brick people. They're dollar cost averaging. They're investing in their 401ks, their Roth IRAs. These are people who've been investing for a long time, and now they have a significant nest egg of 100,000, million, maybe even $5 or $10 million. And then also the newbies. So these are people that are just starting to invest. All these principles that I'm gonna teach you will apply to all these categories of people, but I do wanna qualify this very quickly before I get into the meat of the video. So why is it so hard to invest such a big amount of money, okay? So say you are the business owner who sold his business for $3 million, right? Now you have this big infusion of cash, what are you gonna do with it? So if it came fast, you don't wanna blow it. So a windfall, this could be fast. You sold a business, that's not fast. Savers are not fast, newbies are not fast. Or it can be slow. You built up a business over many years, you saved over many years, or you're just starting, okay? So that's kind of neutral. So came fast, you don't wanna blow it. If it came slow, you wanna preserve your purchasing power because you took all this time to build up a business, to save this money, or you're just starting out, right? So both of these shouldn't change your approach, but there's life implications of death. Say it is a windfall. Now you have to think about life without that spouse or that loved one, or heaven forbid, child, whatever it is. You could have sold your business. Now you have no purpose in life. You're kind of retired, if you will, or you want to start something new, or you left a career. You left a long career where you saved up for a long time in their 401k, or you built up a lot of money in cash, and now you don't know what to do because you're either retired or you're changing careers or starting something new. So we're gonna get into all this, and this is setting the foundation for the video. Okay, so one more set of questions. I know you guys are probably clicking off this video now, but this is important, especially if you are the target demographic for this video who does have a lot of money. So there's three important questions. This is 3 question mark. So number one is the time frame for this money, okay? Is this gonna be 3 years or less? Are you an older person who needs the cash, right? So if it's 3 years or less, keep it in cash. If it's 3 or more, you can invest it, right? So that's typically when people ask me, hey, Marko, I'm saving for a down payment of a house. Should I keep it in a high yield savings account or CDs or some cash equivalent like a treasury, for example, T-bill? Or should I just invest this in S&P 500 and use it for the down payment? So this time frame is important. If you're older, I think cash is a little bit more secure, gives you more peace of mind. If you are more open to risk, then you can invest it, but that time frame should be 3 years. So lump sum versus dollar cost average. So yes, you sold the business. Yes, you have this big inheritance. Yes, you have this big windfall. Do you invest it all at once with the lump sum, or do you dollar cost average, meaning do you invest this same increments, same time frame over a long period of time? So I already did a video on this. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but the findings from that video was that lump sum actually produces better results than dollar cost averaging. However, dollar cost averaging, I think, is what behooves most people from a psychological standpoint. So the psychology of not plumping in all your money at once at one time, because you may get in at a high entry, you may get in at a low entry, you may get in somewhere in the middle. Time in the market is obviously better than timing the market. So I think for most people, it'll behoove them to dollar cost average, but this is something you can only answer for yourself. And then number 3 is how involved do you wanna be? So do you wanna set it and forget it, which I'm gonna show you here in the next slide? Or do you like analyzing individual stocks? Do you like real estate? Do you like being philanthropic? Do you like giving it to charities? Do you like being involved in volunteering? There's a bunch of different things that you can do with your money. And remember guys, money is just freedom units. It's just options, that's all it is. So you need to realize or figure out how involved you wanna be. So if we are talking about death in this video with the windfall and stuff like that, check out today's sponsor, Policy Genius. Life insurance is my family's financial safety net. A proper life insurance plan is the best defense you and your family can get. This process may sound overwhelming, but it couldn't be simpler than using Policy Genius to simplify everything. My wife and I did just that. Getting started with Policy Genius is simple. We filled out our information on the website, we talked to one of their licensed agents, she answered all of our questions, we answered her questions, and we started the process. She got back to us with quotes that made a lot of sense financially, and they also covered our needs. Policy Genius knows how valuable your time is. Their technology makes it easy to compare life insurance quotes from America's top insurers in just a few clicks to find your lowest price. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Their licensed award-winning agents can help you find the best fit for your needs. They work for you, not the life insurance companies. That means they are not incentivized to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance. Policy Genius is for parents, caregivers, and anyone else who has people who depend on them. They simplify the process of getting you life insurance so you can protect the ones you love. No wonder they have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot. Your family deserves peace of mind. A life insurance policy through Policy Genius can give it to them. Head to policygenius.com/whiteboardfinance or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. Okay, so let's get into the 2 portfolios that I'd recommend to my own brother or sister or parents, okay? So if you're someone who's set it and forget it and you want a dollar cost average over the long term, or just plop this into 2 or 3 asset classes, this is not involving real estate. This is not involving alternative investments. This is not involving Bitcoin. This is more of your traditional financial advisor portfolio, if you will. So we have the 2-fund portfolio, which is Warren Buffett's portfolio. He said in a newsletter that he would recommend this to any of his trustees, and it's going to beat any high-fee manager over the long term. So what he recommends is 90% some sort of S&P 500 equivalent. You can use like SPY or ticker symbol VOO, for example. And then you can use 10% short-term treasuries. This could be a VS, I don't want to write this down, I'm running out of space. It's VSBSX or VGSH. Either way, depending on your age, if you're 25, then I would go 90-10. If you're 75, I probably wouldn't go 90-10. So you can always play around with these weights. But his big philosophy in the 2-fund portfolio is that it's heavily weighted towards equities with a low expense ratio. And again, you can get that exposure using ticker symbol SPY or VOO. Those are just a few examples. Or you can go the Jack Boglehead 3-fund portfolio. So this is similar, except it's not S&P 500. It's actually going to be total U.S. stock market. You get exposure to that with VTI. And then you can have U.S. bonds, total U.S. bond market. You can do that with BND. And then international stocks. This is everything excluding the United States. That's VXUS, okay? Sorry, I know it's kind of hard to read. So what Jack Bogle talks about is that you can do a 3-fund portfolio. It's pretty much similar to this one, except I've done a demo on these 2 portfolios. Over the past 40 years, this 2-fund portfolio destroys the 3-fund portfolio. And a part of that is because since its inception, this US bond BND fund is down about 5.2%, okay? So just something to think about. But this is basically the 2 portfolios, and let me get into different weightings here. Okay, so we talked about the weighting on the 2-fund portfolio. You can adjust these accordingly. Typically, the rule of thumb for basically equities to bonds in your portfolio is the number 110 minus your age. So if you're 30 years old, you should have at least 80% exposure to equities, if that makes sense. Some people do 120 if they want a little bit more equities in their portfolio. But basically this 3-fund, you can break it down to a few different common weightings. You can do 80-20, you can do 33-34, or you can move that 1% around however you want. Or if you're a little bit older, you can actually do 20-80, 20% equities, 80% bonds. Personally, I'll show you exactly what I do. I'm running out of room here. Let me actually do this in the next slide here. I'll show you exactly what I do with my own pie theory. Okay, so this is my own personal pie theory. I'm not looking at this as just one portfolio. I'm looking at this as my entire net worth. So if you guys are looking for a gauge on what I do, this has been my pie theory for many years now. So typically I like to be in 15% cash, It could be a little bit less depending on the type of market we're in. However, this is not only just an emergency fund, this is also for buying opportunities as well. This could be buying a business, buying a piece of real estate. So I know 15% sounds high, but there's a reason for that. It's offense and defense. Number 2 is stocks, is 35% of my net worth. Bonds, 0, as long as I can help it. Real estate, 33%, precious metals, 2%, Bitcoin, 15%. And then also I'm involved in some private capital deals, private equity, and then also 0% on commodities. I would run as far away from commodities as possible. This right here, Bitcoin, that's the only commodity you need. So if you guys are looking for a barometer, you can easily adjust this. So if you know you have all your net worth in one of these things, you can adjust it. But also to play devil's advocate, if you are an expert in stocks, an expert in bonds, an expert in real estate, then I would probably just focus on what you're a subject matter expert in because you can get outsized returns and you have an edge. If you want to be diversified, this is exactly what I do. Okay, so my thoughts at the end of the video, these are never scripted. I don't have any bullet points. I'm literally just freestyling this. When it comes to my thoughts in investing a large sum of money, the math basically justifies. Vanguard's done studies on this. Many people have done studies on this. Lump sum beats dollar cost averaging, but from a psychological standpoint, it's the same question as should you pay off your mortgage, right? Well, on one hand, mathematically, if you have a low fixed rate interest rate, why would you pay that off? On the other hand, it could give you some psychological benefits. So you need to understand that. You need to understand your time frame. You need to understand your age and your risk tolerance. So there's no one size fits all. But once you answer those questions, the 2 and 3 fund portfolios are still a very viable option. The 2 fund has crushed the 3 fund over many, many years. However, that's a lot of different economic factors that may not be true in the future. No one has a crystal ball. So when it comes to stuff like this, you need to think of your net worth as a pie. That's the analogy that I always give. And this pie should be diversified into many different things, in my opinion, for the average person. Again, if you're a subject matter expert in one of these slices, then that slice should probably be your whole slice, right? If you're an expert in restaurants, why would you invest in stocks, right? You're gonna get way better returns running a restaurant. So different strokes for different folks, but I think for the majority of people who don't want to be full-time, equities analysts burning the midnight oil and researching all these individual stocks and earnings reports and 10Ks and all that stuff, the 2 and 3 fund portfolios are a good starting point. Hopefully you got value out of this video. If you did, please like the video, share it with a friend, hit the notification bell, and leave me a comment down below on what you thought. Thank you so much and have a prosperous day. If I didn't have a wife and kids, this would be my pie right here. Just a whole lot of Bitcoin, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to make as many people as mad as possible. Buy Bitcoin, nerds.